Okay, so again, breakdown of Akira perspective, and I want to discuss also about like different aspects of drawing in perspective. Because one is interesting thing is some like part of a complexity of working with perspective. It's about just wrong idea of how we should approach it. Like people kind of think like, or I will avoid perspective rules and perspective theory, or I will become kind of machine, like always measure everything, like using grids and calculating everything. When in reality, as artist, you operate kind of in a between. You find your own proportion of a technical approach and kind of like freehand eyeballing way of drawing. So first, again, let's say about technical again, like quick recap. What is bird view? So bird view is like if we have side view, like side view, right? So here's like we have box, and camera is somewhere above this box in this area, right? So we have like now we have this area. Maybe here, let's say. So if we have like here 90 degree, this view called overhead. So it's just like a satellite view when it's like directly done, like kind of like a satellite photographs on a Google map, stuff like this. Then we have here, it's 45 angle. And here is like 22 something, you know, this kind of angle. So Akira Bird views this kind of notorious images, famous Akira kind of camera angle. It's about 45. It's about 45 degree. So other moment here, it's to realize how cube looks from 45 angle point of view. To look like this, you can watch my tutorials about perspective for beginners, about rotation and perspective. I'm talking about this. It's a very good system which I found in a Koreans. So it's a Taiwan artist, Koreans. So this 45 vertical rotation box, it's 2:2 ratio. So if like 22 angle will look like this is ratio 3:1. So we have like, if we look at the flat image, like front side and the top side of a box, of a cube. Top side, like visually, like in a 2D, will have only like one part, when front side will have like 3 parts from 4. Kind of, so watch my tutorials to have this full table with Kranz cubes. It's kind of very important to learn. So what it gives to us, because idea of these cubes and why we need to practice them, and like, you know, all this stuff people talk all the time, is that it's not only geometrical, it's also like concept, like principle. So because like when you look somebody head, let's say here we have like somebody head, look in front, right? So we have like front view, so it's like 0 angle camera, just looking in the front from here. But then if I want to show this face, this head from 22, about 22 and a half, I think, then we will have this kind of ratio. And how this ratio works? This ratio works in a way, it's like here we have like 100% of front view, right? So it's like box, cube, totally like 100% is front side of a box. When is a 22 angle, 22 and 5, like, so then this like full silhouette kind of overhead, now we'll have this ratio of like we see about like how many, like 20% kind of to look 1/4, let's say. It's just I can't think in the morning. And we see this top surface, like top of your head, right, became visible here. And 3 from 4 front face is visible. So it's like front view start to be like squeezed. And like, because appearance over top side start to kind of like squeeze in front side. And then like when we have 45, then we have like exposed like top view competing kind of to 50-50%. So it's like half is a top overhead and half is a front overhead. So, and for this you don't need any geometry, it's just like your even kind of like intuitive vision based on your daily experience. You practically can take any object, whatever, it's like apple, like say, okay, this apple look front, look like this, then when I little rotate it downwards or I move my camera up, I will see little more over top, right? So kind of like you determine it, you establish kind of it yourself, and then I say this is like 45 angle. I don't use any cross sections, nothing like that, just eyeballing it, intuitively built based on my experience, because we work on a viewer. If it works for me as viewer, it will work for other viewers as well. So same, like you might sometimes stuck with geometry, and then you actually lost this quality of making effect on a viewer. So sometimes geometry actually will look unrealistic for a viewer. So as artist, you should be always aware of it. As well, especially I was talking in previous video about this strong foreshortening in a fisheye perspective. And I say it's like interesting paradox kind of a fisheye perspective with this like strong foreshortening is that is by definition is looks off by kind of like its uh, essence of this kind of perspective that is always looks off because we never see it normally in our life. So as artist, you need to play with this. So you kind of make it properly, but in same time knowing that it's impossible to make it look correct, you make like you use it for your benefit. So you can kind of make your own creative choices, and you can make like shortcuts. No, it's not only shortcuts, it's some kind of composition choices which is just conflicting with perspective principles. Так, so, and here, like I was talking all the time, like for this stuff, like one aspect of viewing from angle, it's object, right? And the second aspect, it's a space. So object and space, they kind of relate to each other. They coexist. So there's some kind of it's like a box within a box. So if we have like this box 45 angle, you see we have three set of lines. So this like z-axis, this x-axis, and this one is y-axis, vertical. Depth, width, and h. So if you just kind of look for behavior of these lines, of this axis, you will find like this mechanic kind of, right? So which is described in perspective rules. So here we see how z parallel lines converging in a z vanishing point on the horizon line. Then we see like, oh, y axis vertical lines, they're converging in a y vanishing point, also so-called nadir. And then I look, oh, here x axis, this width lines which represent width, they're not converging. They're parallel, and they're parallel to horizon line. So we see this box is not only kind of have its own perspective, like with these vanishing points and stuff. No, it also exists in this space. You see, now we have like a surface, and I can like draw other boxes. So I see like, let's say, make more y-axis. So it's gonna be many other boxes here, cubes. Так. So We can also like use different framing and kind of exclude vanishing points from our frame. So inside field of view or inside your picture, inside your painting, your canvas, you don't have vanishing points, but you still have this grid. So this like set of lines. So I have many tutorials talking about how to build these perspective grids. It's not difficult actually, so you can learn it very fast. Just watch my tutorials. And there is a lot of variations, like like kind of variants of this type of perspective. So let's say a horizon line can be tilted, so then x axis will be tilted, and let's say y, this is z vanishing point. Here we have, like, let's say outside y vanishing point. So if I draw a box here, now it's like box tilted and surface tilted. And in Akira, actually, like most of this 45 angle bird view, it's isometry. So it means this box don't have vanishing points. These three axes, they're just parallel. This three set of lines, they're just parallel, and there is no horizon line. So it can be kind of like this. So it's like z and x axis and vertical line like this. Or you can tilt vertical axis and then same find where is z axis, where is x axis. Yeah, also actually I need to show all for this kind of 45 angle boxes. Yeah, so here this table chart of Kranz cubes. So like I tell you, this is like a zero rotation, camera just looking in the front, but camera moving to the left, or cube is rotating to the right. It's kind of, you see, it's subjective. You can rotate camera to left, or you can rotate cube, so it will change the ratio. So then camera moves up here, and here we have this ratio 2 and 2, 45 angle. So you see, then we can rotate camera horizontally, and we will have this type of view. So it's still 2 on 2 vertically all time. So it's 2 on 2 ratio. It means like we see top part. You see, like 50%, it's top part, top side of this cube. And then it's like appears this like 1/3, then is half, also like 2 and 2 horizontally, and then is 3 and 1 horizontally, like appearing of the left side of a box. So then you see, of course, you can just mirror it, and you can rotate box like to expose its right side. So it's kind of like you just make it. You see what I mean, right? You can like just mirror it horizontally, vertically, but all main angles it's here. And knowing just this 3 variant, you can also make some kind of in between, because there will be very similar, like this angle. You can make like in intermediate angle if you're able to draw this. It's kind of like very important system to measure. So here I can draw this like 45 angle box. You see what I'm talking about, right? That's why you practice these crayons cubes. So I show you again. You just push pause here and you draw a whole this set of cubes like this, making square subdivided on 4. So have like 4 subdivision, and then you draw this ratio. You need to practice it just to imprint in your subconsciousness, make it automative, and so you will never forget it. Like I show here, you see, you can make it vertically, horizontally. It's just this ratio, very easy, very simple, but you should do it many times. Do it many times, like learning, like to 2 equal 4, 2 and 4 equal 8, and stuff like this, how we'll study in the school, how you study language, etc. It's exactly the same stuff. You should draw it, you should memorize it, so it's like you don't look at all and then you sit and you draw all these boxes from memory. This is your goal, because it's very basic, it's very essential. Then it's became kind of your visual language. You should have this knowledge like engraved in your subconsciousness. Okay, Chuckly. Okay, Chuckly asked to make video about explaining zoom in and out using perspective grids for comic panel. How to draw figures in the foreground and background. So you mean like figures in one frame, like when you have figures in the foreground and the background in one picture, right? In one panel. Okay, we'll do a video about this. I kind of like I already cover it in a couple of videos, but yeah, I can make separated video, kind of name it in this way, make it like a topic. Okay, so you see here it's like I did this like 45 cube, like here maybe it's like between 45 and 22, so it's kind of like intermediate, but still, like I say, it's in this range, like say here, because this one it's overhead, this one it's like a front, and this one it's bird view, so it's around 45. And back to this idea, why we need all these boxes, because now look on Akira and Katsuhiro Otomo drawings. Let's say these people. So what do we see about people? They have symmetry, right? So it's like right thigh is kind of same thigh as the left thigh. Same like from shoulder to elbow, it's the same length. So we see how they're like change proportion because camera angle, because their rotation in the space. And we see when they're like parallel to each other or like have same constructive points. So it's let's say like a hips, right? Or shoulders or elbows. So here his elbows not symmetrical. But shoulders kind of almost symmetrical, right? So it's like this guy here. Then it's like this glass line here. All these hips is like hip here, knee here, like feet here. Even like shirt points. So we see this kind of symmetry of the figures, right? And notice there is no convergence, it's parallel. So then here it's like it's little alters because he bent it in a little different manner, right? Like he have one leg here, one leg here, so it's look like a different angle just because a rotation of the legs is not perspective. So let's say also this guy, like his shoulder, his hip, his knees, his feet here will be parallel, his glass parallel, his head parallel. So this x-axis parallel, then y-axis, like torso here, parallel, 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 parallel. Here torso parallel. So vertical lines parallel. We don't see kind of foreshortening for a torso. Like it can be like this, right? So like you can draw like somebody head bigger, like diminishing kind of, right? So and then it's became smaller and smaller. So we don't see it here. So it's just parallel, not convergent vertical lines. Then z-axis. And let's see. Z-axis like on the torso here, on the shoulders. It's hard to show on people, but also we can show it on the car. So this x parallel, this parallel, and there is no vertical in the car, maybe only this one here. So anyway, like you don't need a visually vertical in all these lines. You just need to know idea of them. So it's like this car is not distorted, is not diminishes, is not don't have this, let's say like let's see if like I have car like this, right? It's like kind of strong perspective, kind of, right? So we can see like there is no so here is no z-axis. There is no. Here is only this two lines, but here we don't have line, but we can see it. We can see convergence. of this car, right? So you don't need like visual geometry to see distortion, to see how face, for example, also can change. Like we often see, like with the camera, when you photograph yourself close to camera, so you will see something like this, like eye kind of like very big here, nose big, and then is like your mouth will be small. Let's say something like this, right? So I don't have any line art, kind of like box lines here, but we register this foreshortening, we register this convergence, right? So practicing boxes and practicing drawing different stuff in perspective, following perspective grid, you train your eye to see these invisible constructive lines, kind of. So, and here, what I'm talking about, remember I talk about box and space, right? If we have this isometry space with without vanishing points, cube will be here in this kind of space only like this, only without vanishing points. So, and here is very interesting, like when I draw this cube with vertical lines align with perspective grid vertical lines, I kind of telling that this cube is parallel to ground. He can fly, he can stay on the ground, but he always parallel. So it's like from side view, have this side view. This is ground, and this is cube. He can be flying, he can be standing on the ground, but he's parallel to ground. If I draw him not parallel to ground, this edges of cube will not align with y-axis anymore, right? So, and what should you do? How can you draw this cube now in this perspective grid? You don't have like perspective lines for this kind of cube, right? So understanding that in this perspective, all you need is just remember that all you need is to keep this box, keep this cube, have parallel edges. That's it. So I can draw it in any position. I can like, drop them like playing cubes in a casino kind of, I don't know. So it's like 1, 3, stuff like that, right? So all I need to care here is that this cube don't have like this diminishing convergence. So I just drop them around and I have this kind of isometry perspective cube. He align with this space. He's not breaking rules of this world. And when I establish this kind of space and I draw cube like this with a vanishing point kind of, right? Actually, it means it's not a cube, it's not kind of box anymore. It's mean I showing that this is like diagonal construction. It's a construction with its object with diagonal lines. You see? Kind of like these lines in the car, we know there have this difference in proportions, like they're tapering kind of, right? Not because vanishing point, it's because construction of the car. So same with the people. Like I know his shoulder wider than his hips because he have wider shoulders, not because he's like vanishing point here. You see what I'm talking about? So this example of actual literacy in a perspective. So you actually understand how it works, how these principles applied in actual work. So Katsuhiro Otomo and now let's say you, no you. Now you know that all you need is to understand properties of a space in which you draw your objects, vehicles, characters, whatever. When you know them, then you know what kind of uh, distortion your objects will have. So here, they don't have distortion. It's just the figures with like different exposure of its sides. So it's like I say with the boxes, right? We have this ratio, like we see more of their top. So here they rotated heads, but let's say shoulders, right? So if I draw this guy in a front view, so like he's standing like this, like front view. I don't see top, right? So it's 100% his front side. But then I can like expose more. So let's say like I want to make it like 45 angle. So I will show like 50% of top and 50% of his front side. So try just do it some like this. Just challenge yourself without any guidelines. Just say like, okay, what will I see if I will look at him from this angle? So I just move his head here. So it's like important to understand this. You need both. You need this ability just freely, naturally kind of draw angles. And at the same time, you actually need to study principles of perspective. So you understand why it works this way. So and you see kind of like I trying to avoid for diminution. So I say, okay, this is isometry space. So we see 50% of top view, like maybe in his fists here. And in this isometry space, like, let's do this like the axis. He don't have, he is not convergent to vanishing point. No. he remain same kind of symmetrical. He just like kind of will be like a squeeze, and we will see more of a top kind of competing with the front sides. And same when I will rotate him around like this box, right? So you see this is, he is in this position right now. Then I can draw him like this. Without this box grammar kind of, right? It will be so kind of, it will be impossible because you don't have system in your mind. So let's say, again, just kind of naturally, like be like brave children when you was in the childhood, to just sit and draw stuff without kind of being like absolutely correct. It's like you don't need system for every line. You just need like certain requirements. So here I make requirements for myself. I say I draw him from this angle, and I need to make sure I maintain this like lack of convergence. So all should be parallel, and like more I practice, more precise it will be. And it's kind of only way to develop this natural skill, just by such practice. So we have again, I'm trying to show here this 50% exposure over top, and then now we have this like 1/3 over right side here, right? So I want to show it. You see, this what Kim Jong-gi show you on this tutorials you've seen. Like I have no idea what he say in Korean, but when we look like how he draw figures and put them in a box, right? This what actually he do. So you can make like box over your figure, or you can draw figure and then draw box and then put figure inside this box. It doesn't mean like you see like mathematical geometry of your figure, like in a manner like a Scott Robertson draws this cross section, right? You don't see all these cross sections. It's too much. It's like you don't have such brain power, kind of like Indigo kind of brains, 1000 IQ, to calculate all this cross section in the process. It's too much. If you want, in a specific case, you can say like, oh, I need to break it down kind of, and then you can start, and still you will be pretty fluent kind of. It will be not like absolutely proper way to build it, like you draw a box and then you find all this geometry in the space. No, you never do it. Nobody do it. Also, you can see how this industrial designers, how often their humans are very simplistic. You cannot see like how they're like build humans in the same way how they build cars, because it's impossible. It's just beyond human capabilities. So I hope it should break kind of your delusion, be kind of, threshold, which leads you to new level. Actually, it's kind of new knowledge, which is not about like you need to carry stone on the mountain. No, it's actually telling you you already have a lot of resources to make it right. You just have a wrong approach, wrong perception of perspective. And this kind of perception gains by years of a lot of drawing, a lot of hard work. And you're lucky you meet me because I like to explain stuff. And I think I can explain it to you before you spend like 10 years of practicing, like grinding, this until to realize how simple you can do it. Так. So yeah, and in the same manner, it will be like more complicated, and I can talk about this on other videos. It will be like kind of continuing this subject. But you can already understand what I'm talking about. Like if here, now I just can draw any people in any position. Just make sure they have this parallel property. So he can fly, he can fall. I just don't make him converge in perspective, and he will belong to this space. He can lie on the ground, and I don't need to worry anymore. So yeah, I've solved this stuff. I know what is a proper way to show objects and people in this kind of environment conditions, in this kind of lens, right? So he can see it, they will always parallel here. And same stuff will be in a perspective with a conversion. But this is more complicated, obviously. It's just like you need little more experience. Here, maybe you will need to more draw with the guidelines for some period of time. And after some time, when you practice properly draw them with the guidelines, you will also start to get this kind of intuition, like what kind of foreshortening, what kind of distortion figures will have in this space. So then you also can like rotate them in a different angle with maintaining this ratio. So what I'm talking about, ratio of, you see how this side longer than this side, right? So if I compare, I say like, oh, this far is kind of this much longer, right? Same kind of here and here. So at first you don't see it, you don't feel it, but then with some practice, and you will need actually like guidelines for this practice, you will get it like subconsciously, like very fast. You'll just say like, yeah, okay, I don't need more perspective lines for every figure. I can just rotate them in a space myself, just maintaining this kind of ratio of distortion. Some people, objects, whatever. So it's very interesting. I see, it's crazy. I love it. It's incredible. So it's always this kind of interplay of a system, technique, and intuition, and your kind of freehand, um, freehand. It's like natural drawing process, because we as artists, we need this balance for every person, like for every artist. It will depend on his personality, like how much technical and mathematical he want to be. But all of them, all of artists, they need to have theory and like essential skills in the perspective in general to be able to be like this, like fluent to eyeballing perspective. Also, like Scott Robertson say, first you need to draw slow, very careful, so later you will able draw very fast and more loose, so you can kind of you can skip steps, you can avoid certain necessary um, steps in your process in the building stuff in perspective, but only after you learn whole process properly. So here we have this view. Let's just draw this example of a tilted horizon line, and this also example of a wrong perspective, which is works because um, we have horizon line here, but perspective here is isometrical, which is usually not happen. Usually, like if we have like if there is no vanishing point, so there is no horizon line. But here we have horizon line without vanishing points. So as you see in these buildings. Так. So in the vertical lines, they don't have vanishing points. So it's not 3-point perspective. It's isometry. So have y-axis like this. And then we have x-axis like this. And let's say can take one of building for z-axis. So they all parallel. When in normally it should be no horizon line in such perspective, but they kind of break this rule here. So it's very interesting. Так, so this. And like I was explaining with people, like we have this helicopter here. In this perspective, helicopter don't have, it's like long lens perspective, it's no convergence. We don't have vanishing points. This helicopter is not dim convergent. Hello, Cavalera. It's like Chinook. Так. So we have group of buildings here and a group of buildings here. Then this is like a Hong Kong. Yeah, it looks like Hong Kong. Never been in Tokyo. Must be in Tokyo a lot this kind of views. Так. So because these buildings parallel to ground, they're not leaning, kind of, they're not falling. So their vertical lines always following my perspective grid y-axis. But they can be rotated, or they can be like diagonal form, like this one. It's in diagonal, not rectangular. Kind of how I often do with studies. I actually not copy every building. I just kind of draw my own mashup, and just make my own version of this bundle of skyscrapers. Because like make little remake it help you to break this tendency to copy visually. You don't need visually to copy it. You need copy process and principles. You need to read a system behind visuals and recreate visuals following this system. If you will just copy visuals, you kind of learn minimum. If you will have like minimum outcome from such copy, you need always like analyze and see components of your subject you study. Anyways, it's kind of I can do it with ink actually. This it's just ink. So this one. So write me in the comments or in the chat. How's it so far? Does it help you? Do you learn something from it? Because I never seen anyone explaining this stuff. When you explain something first time, it's really hard. You're not entirely sure it's kind of clear. So people can understand what I'm talking. Так, here's funny. This is price you pay for being proactive and kind of trend starter, kind of. Trend starter. Yeah, it's like I was. No, I really like story. It's like archetypical story of growing up, and it's really interesting. Also, like reflect your own life and notice these chapters, these stages of change, like how you learn something which made you more grown up. And for me, like one crucial step was when I realized I, when I choose myself to be professional artist, so when I choose to go to study art, it was totally my decision. I was just like, yeah, why I never thought about it? I should go and study art. So I just find best art college. I will just walk there, talk to administration, ask like what should I do to get into art college, and then like I go to these courses, I pass exams and get to art college. And this art college, like everybody say, it was impossible to go there. You need to study like 5 years prior, or like couple years of like preliminary studies. For me, I was like total beginner. I only have this like amateur hobby drawings when I was like drawing some comic books, illustrations, and for teachers in this art college, this was like nightmare. They're like very serious and they don't totally like different genre, academia, traditional art, and comic books. There was like cringing. There's like, what? Comic books? It's not a real art. So I was going to art college, actually have a plan, like secret plan from my teachers to learn art, to become professional comic book artist in the future. So I get into college, and then it's kind of like, sometimes have this like art and like crisis, and I got crisis. It's like kind of it's after 2 years for me, it's lost. Um, it lost its purpose, so I don't see any more reason to stay in this art college because kind of my class was too lazy, and I was thinking about like I'm actually not so good and not so talented as like, and it's definitely not my thing. So I decided to go into business, became entrepreneur. So no, I just like say like, why I will waste my time with all this like lazy people like who don't really have any serious motivation and goal in their life. I will rather like do something essential. So I quit art college, became businessman. I kind of try do my best, kind of try to sell advertisement. Like I was um, executive director in a newspaper, kind of. We have our like how's it called, private company with a newspaper. So it was about like fighting advertising, a journalist, make articles, make design, and manage local chapters. So all this stuff I should do, and no, I did this with the supervision of, let's say, like business, let's call it owner, kind of, because he have like more experience, so he was like mentor for me. But all this mundane stuff and all these problems was on me and on my partner before he quit, and then I quit later because it's almost killed me. It was horrible. It's kind of, I mean, not kill me, but it's like it's so horrible for artists. I realize it's like not my thing at all, and I actually really need to go back for art. And now I have this kind of, it's like this like a spiral kind of, right? So you make this, then you go here, and then you come back again, stand and start again as another person. So I had like, while my classmates in art college, this whole time they was like playing phones and just chilling in the classes. I was already like experience a lot of stuff. I've been director, I meet a lot of people, I travel, I draw like portraits for kind of for survival, like, so I have money for food, and I buy tent. I was living with it, like I draw portraits, buy tent on this money, then I live in the forest. Was like going to, like real wildlife, like forest, river. We was singing on a like campfire every night. It was a very cool time. And then I back again to this idea of become artist. But now I was start thinking about like, yeah, now I have this entrepreneur experience. So I need to make my own business with my art. And it's kind of when one point was in my life, like a point of growing up, is when I decide to go art college. It's like not parents tell me or somebody tell me, I just did it myself. Then when I quit, it was my decision. And then when I start to make my life plans and take risk, because when you study, all the student life, it's very easy because you always have authority. You have this children mindset when you're looking for authority, some kind of higher ups who will validate your decisions, who will like give feedback, like correct your course. So like, hey, yeah, you did it well, like, yeah, you make a good drawings, or like, yeah, you following my instructions. But when you live your own life, when you make your decisions, which no one else can understand because they're not you, they're not born with you, they don't know entirely like your life situation and your kind of like what is your intentions and goals in life. There's kind of a lot of nuances. And then you also realize nobody actually know anything 100%. Everybody risk. If you want to be free, if you want to be independent, you making kind of, your life is risky. You make risky decisions all the time, and you need to, only you can take responsibility for them. You cannot blame anything for anyone for your decisions. So this point, like when I quit college, was like my favorite teachers. Like I love all my teachers, respect them and stuff. But then they was totally confused. It's like, what are you doing? So like, I want to build my own life. I want to go my way, kind of, right? So I realize how heavy it is, how scary it is to make your own plans, which nobody can tell you it's a good idea. You never know. So you say, like, for example, oh, I want to learn English, so I will be like work on a foreign company, or I will travel and I will use this language. Nobody can guarantee you is a good idea, but in a moment, in a daily life, day by day, week by week, month by month, like for years, you sit and study English. So your friends, like, they're going to parties, they think you're crazy, like, say, like, why you sit home and study English, or what are you doing, right? Why you not kind of live normal life? And you think, yeah, maybe it's a mistake. And also, I'm not sure I'm improving, right? Maybe I'm not talented. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe English is not for everyone. So you have all these thoughts flying in your head. And only like what you can find in a world around you, it's suggestions. It's like, yeah, somebody say it's a very good idea, but in the same time, somebody say it's a stupid idea. They say, like, just live your moment, don't care about future or stuff like that. So a lot of this point of views. So also, and you don't have this experience. You at the beginning, you never have this experience to have any like better idea, to be assured about your decisions. So it's kind of very cool, like very maturing kind of point in the life. Kind of start to do your own decisions, take risk. And when sometimes you succeed, sometimes you make wrong decisions, and you adjust, you reformulate, you make a new plan. So you constantly became like a constant planner. You plan, you make like, build some theory, hypothesis, then you test your theory, you try it, you see when it works. Also, you need to be smart, because you don't want to make like some stupid decisions which is not kind of irreversible for no reason, right? Like make unnecessary extreme risks. So it's kind of this it became like a game with how's this word, like high stakes. Yeah, game with the high stakes. Like stack is your time, stack is your life. Need to stronger the axis here. Angle. So during this path, for me, it was very useful to read some like a inspirational feeding information, like all this like autobiography or like biography about successful people, like as professional people, like learn about artists, like what's their life been, and then you read and say like, oh yeah, it's like he had a hard life, like he had hardships, it was hard here, hard there. When you read this, it seems like, yeah, it's just like a drama for a book, right? It doesn't feel like it's a real struggle. But then you make this like, wait a second. Actually, no, it's not just dramatization for a story. This is exactly what I have in right now. So you need to make this like parallel and say, yeah, in a moment, this is how it feels. It feels really scary. It feels really like disarming. You think like, oh my god, why I spend so much time for study essentials? Maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I just need to go back to my normal life. Maybe this, maybe that. So, and when you get through all this, when you really like uh, persist, you have this dedication and persistence, and then you start to get outcome. Then you see this story, then you see this um, timeline, kind of, right? But most of people, they don't see this timeline because they give up. And it's not always bad. It's just kind of filter. So we this kind of challenge reveal who like for who is important and for who it was just like a mm, indulgence, just like, oh, I watch movies about artists and I want to be artist too. Yeah, this kind of people, they will filter out very fast. So I kind of like I always say, um, your kind of journey really begin in a point where you decide like, yeah, I want to dedicate my life to this. It's not about just kind of benefit something. Because kind of like, it's very interesting. It's like you should be already in a position, in a point of view that you already benefit. You already get all benefits you need. So you want to be artist, you want to draw, not to get something, but to give back. It's like Nietzsche, is a Nietzsche, right? Nietzsche in English. I think he has this kind of concept of um, acting from um, acting from abundance. I think this word. So it's like when you're fulfilled and you have so much stuff, so much energy in you, so you need to do something to uh, kind of express this, to kind of open this clap and kind of So same for art, kind of. You just have so much thrill and energy, and it's just you cannot sleep, you cannot live if you not do this. It's like everything's like crumbling. Like if you not draw, kind of like a world lost its sense, like colors became dull and air became poisoned when you stop to draw, because this kind of um, because you not let it get out from you, get through you, you you stuck. Так. It's like, yeah, it's like you mentioned, right? As a life, as a for you as artist, life undivisible from your process. So it's like if you standing in the middle of a river, like a mountain river, it's like very strong flow, and you try to resist this flow. And this flow, it's events, it's life events. It's like all the stuff happening around us. All this is not just around, it's pushing us. It's kind of touching you, it gets through you, right? So you need let it through, or you need kind of get along with it. And this how we do it. We do it by expressing all this in our work, in a drawing, in our even like I'm talking this stuff right now. It's also kind of expressing my experience. So it's not kind of stuck inside myself. It's flow. It's keep flowing outside, and I just filter it. I process it and let it go. This kind of called um, it's called like artist sensitivity, right? It's like when you can't be a senseless observer. You kind of like everything kind of happen, touches you deeply, kind of this, right? So, and to deal with this, to deal with this sensitivity, you need to process it, and not process like they suggest in advertising, like, oh, I need to go to psychologist, or I need to play computer game or eat something. No, you process it by um, uh, decoding it, kind of reconfigure it into more organized and more refined form. This how like poetry born. This how just all kind of culture sphere is about this. It's kind of so-called second nature.
Madness. This is Jane Bond art.
Just my kind of glazing it with a madness. So there will be more very cool tutorials soon about how to draw firearms in perspective, like on guns, rifles, even how to draw tactical gear. more about how to draw different angles. I have very cool material preparing right now. Yeah, also remind that you can support my channel. So push likes everywhere for every video. Push ring button, share, also share everywhere. It helps for YouTube algorithm. And you can become a member of a channel. Hello, Leonardo Rosa. Thank you. Thank you for feedback. Yeah, also like when you comment me or chat, it's also very nice because I like to have this like human communication. So I can see there's real people watching. Because like one thing is teach people in real life, or even like when you can see them on the camera. It's kind of you see reaction. It's kind of communication with feedback. Another case is like when you're just talking with a screen and you're not kind of sure if there are any real people watching. Just some kind of numbers on the screen. Say like, oh, there's like 10 people online or 1,000 people online, but it's numbers. So when you write, when you comment, it's make it really became real. Like I sharing stuff with actual people. Let's try here. It's this one. So same here, it's just vertical lines without conversion. Then we'll look for Z here have conversion. So like this. So it's Z like this. And X axis. Now draw. Draw these elements following perspective grid. Here move little smoke and fire to different place. Because here frame little different proportion, so composition will be little different. Crowd, first I just draw as these pebbles. Like first of all, like establishing pattern, like a rhythm. Then these vehicles, like I was talking before about boxes. You can draw from like different angles, but as long as they are parallel to ground, they will follow same y-axis, vertical line direction. And the convergence here so slow and gradual, it's almost invisible. So actually here, if you look in these vehicles, it's actually drawn without conversion. It's just, they just parallel edges like this. One more vehicle here. And I can make like one more fire. Here's microphone. So in here we have like 45 angle running people. Still kind of draws them without without convergent lines. That's it. Kind of main secret here. You kind of squeeze them because they rotated kind of in the space, but while rotated, they are not convergent. Or like this one. Yeah. Yeah, here they're so small. My picture here. Many tiny people. So it's kind of when you draw on this super miniature, need to reinvent human figures, like how to draw this micro silhouettes.
Let's love together! Push like, subscribe! Keep on art! Keep on art! Keep on art! Let's love together! Push like, subscribe! Keep on art! Keep on art! Keep on art! Keep on art!
So here, the axis. Actually, it was very close. Hey, yeah, actually, it's like. Ah, no, it's different vertical lines. So anyway, so here we have vertical lines. Y-axis is just vertical. Then this works as x-axis, and here this tiny thing is our z-axis.
Madness. This is Jane Bond art.
So vertical is just hand is shaken. Here are x, and here are z. So x here is just parallel, and z just parallel. So it's isometry. And now inside this grid we drop this vehicle. So after some practice, it feels like kind of computer game world editor. When I have now space, I establish ground, and then on the ground I drop some vehicles. So like one here, other there. Like I can move around. Let's say I move one to here, so I can better show this guy. So have this guy here, then this guy here, this guy here. Canada kind of hears his shadow, and then he move up his front wheel. It's like, yeehaw. So in following this x-axis, we have this special effect. Так, and this motorcycle here. Here's a broken road. Так. So Canada's shoulders parallel to Z, but this driver rider here, he have his own box kind of for this motorcycle, so his shoulders parallel to its own coordinates. Same like this one we have X, so this motorcycle parallel to perspective grid X, and again this one have its own dimensions kind of. So, yeah, I encourage you to interact and write something in the comments. Just like write story of your art journey. Like when you decide to be artist, like when you go to study or how you study. What is your challenges you dealing with? Because I think it's just very interesting to sometimes look at your own life, like if it's written in a book, and find this like story arc of yourself as a character. It's kind of reflection. Because actually, this what is all stories about is not some kind of imaginative fairy tales. It's all about ourselves, about how much there is nothing new under the sun, and all these storylines keep repeating, all these archetypical arcs, archetypical roles. story forks and all the stuff. It's really amazing. So when you start kind of reflecting and noticing this, it's very, it's kind of healthy and um, healing kind of from distance sometimes to look, from helicopter view, from this bird view on your own character. And laugh like, looks so funny. I'm like a Mr. Bean. Like um who's this actor? Charlie Chaplin. Running around, struggling with something. Yeah, that's this Yamagata motorcycle, but I will change it. So here a lot of these characters, they are so dark in the reference. So I just look for clues and draw my own version without having like very clear visuals. So this one very simple. It's just isometry. You see mainly boxes and very simple shape of motorcycles. So vertical, it's like that. And then X axis goes that way. The axis goes that way. Kind of sense. Here's this stuff, this construction. Yeah, and here, same kind of view, just now we have helicopters. It's kind of is more far away. So you see here and here, so motorcycles, very tiny now. Very cool frame. So here, again, very simple perspective. It's like most simple perspective of all. It's kind of, yeah, it's a zero vanishing point. So it's even easier than 1 point perspective. So here, perspective grid. And now add this composition elements like a road. Here we have like center of attention, this group of ant-like characters. They're like ants, so small. You see, it's also why helicopter view, bird view is very favorite. Like Katsuhiro Otomo favorite camera angle. Because it's kind of part of his message. He constantly kind of put people into position of very vulnerable, endangered kind of species. I don't because like there is circumstances so huge and influence everybody very strongly. It can be like nature or technology, but people compared to all these forces, kind of, they're very vulnerable. This kind of main vibe of all Katsuhiro Otomo big works, like, like Steam Boy, Stink Bomb, Akira. As you see, like in Akira, what is happening? Like they have scientists who play with the nature forces. They think they can use it for their kind of interest or their needs. And there's government and military, right? So kind of this hierarchical like layers of structure when is a common people on the lowest level. They're like most vulnerable and kind of like in this Hokusai painting with a wave, like fisherman on a boat or who is there, and there's like a huge wave. But all these government structures, they also like ants compared to nature forces, like which is like this kind of super force of a planetary scale in Akira, remember? They're talking about this kind of Tai Chi, or what's this? Chi energy that moves space and planets. And they channel this energy into children in their laboratory. Kind of. So we get this Akira, like a very unstable agent of chaos, and Tetsuo, kind of sociopath with Superman powers. So it's very much this kind of perspective from far distance, down shot on the people, the characters. Oh, cool. Hello, good morning, Gio. Thank you for becoming Patrician channel member. Yeah, there's for patricians, there is some special video. Secret VIP tutorials. Yeah, very cool. So, and like I always say, being able to break down like this, you get new tool for your toolbox. Now I can like draw such view from a memory, and I can change characters for my own characters. I can change helicopters from these helicopters to totally different models. It can be my design or some kind of existing models from real life. It can be flying cars from sci-fi or cyberpunk. Cool. Yeah. Good morning, Gio. Say watched my video with the watercolor. watercolor tutorial, watercolor streams, and both set with watercolor. And God blessed me. I saved he did. Became a channel member. Nice. Congratulations. Yeah. Praise God. Definitely. Yeah, like I was when I read the book Seven Habits of Highly Efficient People, I kind of got this question for myself because it's like as artists, right? We're awake to we kind of realize how much we've been given, like how much is already gifted to us. It's kind of this you can say talent for artists. It's this kind of appreciation. Like I say, it's perceptiveness, this ability to just appreciate, to realize how much you already have. So just being alive, it's a miracle. Just being witness of this world, it's a miracle. It's kind of imagine it's like God give you whole universe. It's like all this endless, amazing world around. You can explore it, you can experience it, and it's unmatchable. Like you can you can't pay back for this gift. It's like huge. But then still, like I think, like what can I do in return? You know, maybe I don't have such value goods to pay kind of equally pay for it, but at least I can do something, make some effort, do my part, and just have intention, at least do my best, can make my contribution. It's also important. So if I have this ability to do something, to take care, to maybe like make, like help to maintain this beauty and order of this world. So I should do it, right? So every time you see you can do something good, you should do it. It's kind of your contribution. So when you've been like watching, for example, like movie or comic book or some artwork, and this changed your life, it's moved you. Maybe not every time it's kind of life changing, but it's make your day better. It's kind of give you some good influence. And then you see you can be also like this artist. You can also make this kind of art which will influence this world, influence other people. And then you should do it. Why not? Why spoil, why waste this opportunity? So it's kind of became like not like a duty, but also no, it's just like your attitude. What is your attitude? What is your relationship with God? Like, are you grateful, or you always kind of demand and like I want more, I want that, I'm not happy, I'm frustrating. Yeah, maybe you will change for thinking uh like in a song, like this song I really liked. Say like God give me everything I want and now I give it to you. This kind of mindset our artists should have. It's like you're not asking for more. No, you think how can you give something back? How can you give in return? How can you share it and amplify maybe kind of this? It's kind of like Rolling Stones for me. I think it's only one song I can listen from, and this really cool, great song. Also Enya, uh, how do I call it? Rain something. It's like just chanting, like here is come new day. So it's like this. And it's just like hallelujah, hallelujah. So cool. It's kind of like how I feel when I draw, especially when I draw from real life. It's just some in certain moments something click and you just feel how great this world and you like kind of hallelujah stuff. Anyway, that's what I mean. So it's praising God and praising this world, kind of this celebrating, praising and celebrating. This, I think, ultimately, this kind of what is core of art, even when it doesn't look like this deeply, kind of in the core, it's always about it. It's kind of celebration, this wonder and kind of awe. It's just like, wow. Let's make them like this helicopter drop. Let's put on that. Yeah, maybe yeah, singing in no very different. Uh, Echoes in the Rain, Enya. Yeah, that's like forever super song. Each time listen it, it's very powerful. What let me put here?